Alrighty folks, want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. So this one is kind of probably going to be a short one, but I wanted to go through this because it seems like a lot of things that a lot of people don't know. Windows 10. Windows 10 is not a operating system that does not have end of life. End of life does apply to Windows 10. Data recovery, access points, what else is the term I'm looking for, is backups, can get out of date because Windows 10 has different version numbers. 1833, 2004, H1, what is it? 821H1. These are different version numbers that have end of life dates. It comes in important because if you go past a certain end of life date and you try to update, it won't update. So I wanted to do a video on this to explain this and to welcome everybody to Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. Because this is not a little thing. This can be a big headache. This can be a security concern. And end of life on Windows 10, the official Windows 10 is October of 2025. So that's coming up pretty quick, and everybody has to go to Windows 11. But I've run into this problem a lot. I've had people call, I've had other people have issues and say, hey, my computer ain't going to update. I don't know what's going on. And it seems like maybe there's an update glitch, or they did a restore point, or something else in that matter, and they went back to an older version. Then I have to have them download the Windows Media Creation tool to get the new modern version and literally upgrade their computer, upgrade it to the new edition. Yeah, they have all their data, they have all that stuff, but then you have to do your defrag and your scan disk. And defragging takes a while, and you have to scan and get rid of all your temp files, and you have to be an admin, and you have to go in and take out all the old Windows files. It gives you the box to check, and you go in and you take all this stuff out. And that can be a huge file. So, wanted to touch base on that so people are aware. Because I've run into this problem. I know to look for it. I tell them, hey, go into your updates. Go into the side. It'll tell you your OS version. That's the easiest way to tell. And it'll give you the model number. Now, there is different ways to look at your OS. And it'll give you different numbers. So, the 21H1 or H2 is one way, and then there's a different version number also. So you can look those up on Microsoft's site and see when the end of life was, when the support stops on that one. But I've been seeing that some of them kind of get stuck on certain versions and they don't upgrade. So you have to go in and use that USB and upgrade it to the newest version. They kind of get stuck for some reason. I'm not too sure why. It's not that big of a deal. It takes some time to do, but I have the USB stick set and ready. I have one at home too, set and ready to install Windows 10 at any time. Then you got to go get the newest version and do that. That takes quite a while to set that up. You can do your research, do your homework. They'll get the media creator, go through the steps, create yourself the bootable, installable disk. You go through and you do that, and you have that. And that's the way to troubleshoot and fix that problem. So I really wanted to sum that up and explain that, because that's the one thing I found is when I've looked and I looked at that version number and I'm, oh, wow, that's way out of date. Why wasn't it updating? That I have to do that to get it back to the more modern update. So I don't know if there's anybody else at home that's having this kind of an issue, or even business wise that has this issue where all of a sudden you're trying to update your computer, it won't update. It's telling you need updates for something, an Outlook or Office or some other program you're running, and you go and you look and you're running Windows 10, so you should be okay, right? You got to actually look at what version of Windows 10 you're running. And you want to make sure it's updated. So that's why I'm doing this little short video, to let everybody aware of this little issue. Because that is an issue that's out there. I've run into it quite a few times. I've had people talk to me and ask me about it. And I've told them, check this. If that's what it is, do this. And most of them have done that. It's resolved the problem. So it's one of those things that I wanted to elaborate on. And of course, I've already have videos on making sure you do your backups and doing other things. That's always best practice, to make sure you have that backup, just in case something crazy or funny happens. You don't want to lose your data. Doesn't hurt to do a backup. But I haven't had any issues, but don't take my word for it, because best procedures and best practices is do your backup first. You want to go through that. Even though people tell you, no, you don't need to, no, you don't need to do this, no, you don't. Best procedures and best practices you should really be following. Even though I tell you, oh, no, you don't really need to do that, I'm going to tell you best practices, you do it. And it's your data, so you want to make sure it's safe. Not to mention, if you have an old version that's end of life and you're running 1833 or whatever it was, one of the first ones, and you need to do this to get your version up, you want to do your backup. And then once you get updated and everything's running good and you tested everything, do a backup again. Because you don't want the backup of the old outdated version. If you're doing a full backup, you want to do the full backup of your updated version. Because what good is it to you update something that's going to be outdated, that if something happens, you got to put it back in and then you got to update it again. Again, if you're doing proper backups and all the regular maintenance all the time, it ain't that big of a deal, because you'll do another backup and be pretty simple. But wanted to elaborate on this. Wanted to bring this point up because I see it a lot. I know it's going to be pretty short, but this is one of the big repair warnings factors that I've seen. Is a lot of people say, oh, it's not updating. Why is it not updating? My computer won't update. And most of the time, it's due to this issue. I don't know exactly why. I know I've seen computers that instead of it being 21H2, they're still running H1 and it won't let it upgrade to H2. I don't know, something with the hardware or something with them not allowing that system in the Windows update to sync so that it will take the newest version, but it's taking all the security updates for the 21H1, the monthly updates, but it won't go to the 2. So some of them I've actually just loaded in the USB stick, bumped it to the 2, and then loaded in the H2 updates. So it's kind of a weird little thing that I've been seeing, and I've been catching some that are outdated where I have to go in and just bump them and then do the updates. So doing this quick little video to put that out there, let everybody know about this, to keep an eye on this also, because you might be okay and then all of a sudden that problem pops up. The computer that I last had working on was one of 5, purchased all at the same time. Everything's the same hardware, same everything. 4 out of the 5 had the new correct version. Actually had the H1, not the H2, I believe. And this one had the older. So something in there. I've noticed it on a couple other ones where we have 5, 6 workstations the same. That one took a while before it would get the update. Don't know why. Just a factor I want to put out there. Educate people of. Let people know this. I don't think I've seen anybody mentioning this. I don't think I've seen anything written up on this. But it's something I've seen and something I've fixed. So I imagine a home user, especially with all this crazy stuff going on out there right now with the war and hacking risks and all this other stuff, that you really don't want to be running an old version of Windows, but you don't want to be thinking you have the current edition and you don't, because you didn't know where to look to see where it's at and how to remedy it. So it's kind of a major security issue that I found that I wanted to relay, because what's confusing is you might be still getting updates. You might be getting monthly updates. You might be getting some kind of updates. So you think you're updating, but what version number are you actually running of the software? And then all of a sudden it just stops. And then it doesn't do anything. What do? You don't have to do a factory restore. You don't have to wipe out your data. Other factor is, do a factory restore. How far more farther back is it going to take you? If you can't upgrade on the version you're at and you go to a factory restore that takes you back, you're now back even further. So you're in a worse spot than you were before. So recovery points too. Recovery points go back. So maybe you had an issue with your computer, you ran a recovery point, and then all of a sudden you can't update because now you're running an older version of Windows that's end of life. Windows 10 that is end of life. I want to make sure that people understand that. Windows 10 versions do have end of life. That means you can't get updates, you can't get security patches, you can't get other things. These are critical. And if you have Windows 10 and you have it in your operating system, it's a legal registered copy and you've paid for it, or it came with the unit you bought, so basically you paid for it, you should have a legal updated version. So this is why I wanted to sum this up and get this video out there. I don't know or heard of anybody mentioning this, but I've run into this problem a lot. So it leads me to believe it's not as small of a problem as I thought it was. So there's got to be other businesses and other home users out there running into this problem. And to call someone to come out and service it, and it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, or 3 hours to do it, because you got to do the installation, you got to make the media, you got to remove all your old temp files, you want to do your defrag, and if you have an old mechanical spinning drive or an older system, it's going to take you longer. If you have a solid state or something of that sort, it should be quicker. So it can be a costly thing for as simple as a Windows update, or you had an issue and you thought you resolved it by doing a restore point or factory restore or something of that sort, where you get this problem. So I wanted to sum that up and bring that up because I know this is one of the factors kind of like when people first bought computers, they were Windows 7, Windows 8, and they had to do a restore point, and they went back from Windows 10, the free upgrade. That's why you still have this free upgrade factor. Because if you bought a computer that was Windows 8 and you did a recovery and you went back to Windows 8, they couldn't cut you off from your free upgrade to Windows 10. So they left this little back door open, and now this is why we got what we got. This is the same factor that's still kind of going on, but now it's within Windows 10. You just have a different version number that's end of life, and you're getting stalled. You're getting stuck. So I've seen this a lot, and I got, oh, you know what? While I'm over there, I got to do a video on this because this to me seems to be a major issue. I keep seeing this. And the only remedy I know is to do this. And it fixes the problem because you cannot download off of the Microsoft site the update because you're out of life. Even though it shows it and it goes through and all of that, it errors out. So I wanted to sum this up and do a quick video. I know it's not very quick. I know I'm going on quite a bit because it's important. Because I don't know how many other people are stuck with this. And it's a simple remedy that you can do for free, except for you have to have a large USB stick over 8 gigabyte to put the data on. And it's going to wipe out the USB stick and reformat it and put the data on there. So that's pretty much your cost and your time of doing it. When you put it in, you turn your computer on, you put it in, you go to the USB stick, you do the run, it'll pull updates, it'll do other things, and it'll say, do you want to keep all your files? Yes, you keep all your files, you keep all your settings, you keep everything, and let it run. Basically, same process if you upgraded from Windows 8, Windows 7 to 10. You're basically doing the same process, but it's bringing you up to the current version. So it's kind of weird because you have Windows 10, but you're in the same boat if you're running Windows 7. You have no updates, no repair, no nothing, but you're running Windows 10. So it's kind of a weird thing that they have this end of life crutch, block, stalling point that you get to when you try to install that update and it won't do it. So this is the workaround I found that seems to work well. Haven't had any issues. I've done it several times. I've had other people do it several times. And this really works. And it kind of was like, how many other people are having the same issue that don't realize? So again, to check it, you go to the little start program, you go to your gear, go to Windows Update, it's the easiest way. When Windows Update comes up over on the side, it'll have your OS information. You click that. On there, it'll tell you your Windows 10, your version number, all that type of stuff. If it's licensed or whatever, it'll tell you all that there. You want to check that version number. If you have an older version number that's end of life, odds are it won't be doing updates. It might be pulling some old version updates for that version, but to get to the more modern version, you're going to have to use the USB stick. So I think I'll wrap this one up. I really wanted to go through that, explain that, especially for home users or anybody else out there. You might not know enough to do it, but now that you have this information, your grandkids, your cousins, whatever, your children, they might understand computers enough to get you fixed because it's not that hard. The technology's somewhat simple, but if you're running into this issue, I don't want you to go out to a shop and pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the tech stuff. Oh, I'll just reformat it, reload, or do whatever. You don't need that. It's very a simple, easy fix. Most of them are probably going to just do the upgrade anyways and charge you for it, because that way you keep your files and you keep your data. Hopefully they don't wipe it all clean on you, and you have all your data and your information. So this is really why I wanted to do this video, because of security reasons and everything else that are related to that. And that's something I watch. So this is something that I've seen come up and come up and come up again. So this is the video of how to fix that, to be aware of it. End of life does happen on Windows 10. Alrighty, thank you. Hit the subscribe. I want to welcome and thank everybody for watching on Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. Go back, watch all the other videos I got. Thank you.